challenge you and say Reach Wrestling from you.
Big fish, I'm feeling. How dumb are you? How dumb are you? Get out here. You come here. This is my mate. My old mate. He's not the end. This is the start.
So today, guys, we're here at the Muse Theatre Lipsom Academy in Plymouth. We're doing a day in the life with professional wrestler Jason King, taking an in-depth look at what goes on behind the scenes at one of their shows. Here he is.
Hello.
How you doing, mate? You okay?
Good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good, thank you.
Nice.
Got a nice show here tonight?
Yes, yeah, looking forward to it very much.
What's going on tonight? What sort of event we got going?
So this is, we try to name our events based on the venue, right?
Yeah.
So we used to have, we'd name each show like a different cool name.
Yeah.
You might call it like Vengeance or Return of, it got to a point where I was like, I'm running out of names. So now we just name it like live in the venue it's at. So
yeah.
we call this Reach Live in Lipsom, which is where we are in Plymouth.
Yeah.
Like Lipsom, it's the Cooperative Academy. And you'll see in a minute when we go in, the Muse Theatre is where we run. It's really nice, really good theatre.
Yeah.
But we've got proper professional wrestling, Reach Wrestling, very excited.
See the rings already been
the rings going up,
transported
yeah.
here.
We got the van, as you can see. And really important to us was the branding on the van. I got this done from a friend of mine. I love it. It's one of the things that I sort of almost take for granted sometimes. I forget about it, but I just love seeing this.
Who designed that? Because I think it's amazing.
Well,
it sort of reminds me of like the Undertaker's.
Right. When we first started, me and an old business partner friend of mine, Grayson Reeves, I was driving along, so we went to Swindon. The way the whole thing was set up was where he lived at the time, and I was trying to convince him to start a company with me, and he was like, I'm a wrestler, I don't do that, I'm not a businessman. I said, come on, we could do it. And I'll never forget, I just said to him, look, why don't we just write down with a pen and paper what the card would look like, who we would book, how it would go. And he said, right, I'll get a pen and paper, you put a kettle on. And I thought, got him. And I knew once he wrote it on paper, because we put together the best card our first show, and I knew once he saw it on paper, he'd say, Jesus, we should really do this. And that was it, right? And this came up with, we couldn't think of a name.
Okay.
We were in Swindon, and I kept saying to him, we just need something. And everybody's got 3 letters, initials like WWE and AEW and TNA, and everyone after that now, all these local companies have got like little, Ultimate Championship this and high performance that. I was like, it's a load of nonsense, right? So I just thought we need something that kind of says what we're about, right? And I was listening to a song driving home, and I heard them say, am I wrong for trying to reach the things that I can't see?
Okay.
And I was like, reach. And I was like, Reach Wrestling. And I thought about it, and I thought, oh God, that's it. And I'm calling him up, and I'm like almost crying down the phone. He's like, calm down, what's wrong? I was like, I've got the name. And I was super excited. But so I came up with the name, but he came up with the logo. He said to me, he called me up 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, I've got it, I know how it can look. And I'm half asleep, like, what do you mean? He's like, a hand, like breaking through the ring. I'm like, I don't know what you mean. So he got someone to design it, and that's probably, and this is a secret people don't know, this hand is his real hand. That shot was taken of Grayson's hand.
No way.
Yeah, that's his actual hand. We took a photo and put it on,
Has that been the same logo since the company was started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll probably never change.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing. So how long would it generally take like a ring to be set up then? Obviously you've got a big team here today, but...
Yeah, so depending on the team you've got, you'll usually, it should be done in 30-40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
If you've got a slow day where something's gone wrong, it could take you an hour and a half, 2 hours, but for the most part, you're looking at getting it done in 30-45 minutes, right?
Okay.
The old too many cooks spoil the broth thing can be a thing.
Yeah.
You'll notice a lot of standing around. A lot of it really is learning. A lot of guys wanted to learn how it's done.
Yeah.
But the most part is the structure of the ring, the metal and the wood. That's the part that tends to take the longest. What we're seeing now is like the little touches, the canvas goes on and the ropes go on.
Yeah.
That stuff takes. You'll notice with the ring, it's all made of metal and wood, and I think one of the things a lot of people don't see is how much padding we have. I think people say to me all the time, oh, it's like a trampoline, and I'm like, is that what you think? Like, come in and hit this damn thing.
Come and have a go.
So yeah, it's mainly primarily hard plywood, 18-inch, and steel. That's what it's made up with. But
it doesn't look very nice.
It's not. You ever take a bump when you were here?
Yeah, taking a few bumps. I had I think 4 weeks of training, and definitely felt it the next day.
Yeah, good.
Definitely.
Good. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm kidding. I was just kidding. What does it say?
So this is the Reach Wrestling Heavyweight Championship belt, and it is currently occupied by Jason King.
Match 4, Team Wales.
Look at that. It's actually really heavy. Surprisingly heavy. You look at you buy some belts from like merchandise tables when you go to like wrestling shows, and obviously they're all like just plastic fan belts. At this is a proper belt. Yes. Better put it down before thinks I'm gonna nick it.
So match 4 is
I've been a wrestling fan like literally forever. Like I've grew up like watching like John Cena and stuff. So, but I've been to a few shows before. I've never been backstage at like a wrestling show or any sort of like anything that's going on, like a concert or event or whatever. So, just being backstage and seeing like how everything's laid out and you know the planning that goes into everything it's really cool to see. Is it this you enjoy more? Or is it being out there?
That's
like
the fun bit. That's
yeah,
the fun bit, because this is business.
Yeah.
I know it's wrestling, but it's a business.
Yeah.
Ultimately, all the decisions I make have got to come to a bottom line, right? It's got to make financial sense.
Yeah.
Then you try to keep all your workers happy and all the people happy that pay for your custom, right?
tough job.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't realise until you do it, because a lot of people think wrestling. Oh, I could do that. I'll rent out a ring and I'll put on some wrestling music. We can all do that.
Yeah.
Maybe you can.
Yeah.
You can't draw a sellout show every time. 93% of the time that we've put on shows over the last 6 years.
Right.
It's a stat, isn't it?
Yeah, that is good.
And to be able to do that continuously, it takes a lot of work that you don't see. So like on show day now,
Yeah.
I don't do as much as perhaps I did say 3 years ago, because my work used to be always in the ring and doing every little job on show day, making sure this was done and that was done.
Yeah.
It goes back to the point I made a minute ago about you need to put people in place that can do things perhaps better than you can do.
Yeah.
It's just common sense, right? I've got a lot of people now in the team that I can delegate jobs to, and they're probably better at it than I am. But that's just the growth of the organisation.
Yeah.
So to answer your question in a really long-winded way, what do I enjoy more? The performing.
Yeah.
That's the fun bit.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
fun. When you're a kid, I heard you just say that about you love John Cena.
Yeah,
I'm some kid's favourite wrestler. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some kid sees Jason King. Some kid sees Jason King. It's like, oh, he's my favourite. Like,
Yeah.
When you think about that, you're like, I'm that for someone.
Yeah.
So that bit's fun. But this bit is work. I know it seems fun, and I'm sure people, you'll see me later on saying stuff to people, and you'll be thinking, oh, he looks like he's having a great time. This is the hard bit of the job.
Yeah,
the fun is when I
yeah.
get to put my pants on and go and have a play fight. You know what I mean?
Play
That's the fun bit, you know?
Yeah. No, I love
Makes
it. Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anything you learn. So you get taught. So one of the first things you learn when you first break in. So we call it paying your dues, right? Because there's a basic level of respect that should exist in life, right?
Yeah.
And should exist here in this job. And because of what we do is really built on respect. The way you win matches, lose matches, the opportunities you get given, you start from the ground up. So if a new guy, say, comes to my show and he starts training at my school, the first thing he might do is pick up all the litter at the end of a show.
Okay.
That's the first thing he'll be doing, or he'll be loading the ring van and stuff like all the heavy jobs, and it's the jobs that really, honestly, you're thinking, this ain't no fun.
Yeah.
But welcome to the world, pal.
You're trying to figure them out as well.
Yeah, that's it. To learn what level of commitment they got, right? It's a hard job what we do. It's not easy. If it was easy, we'd call it football. No offence, all right? But it's hard, all right? What we do. So you pay your dues in this job, and the hardest bit is then you get in the ring, get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
So it don't get no easier, you know. But that's you got to be. It takes a certain type of person to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Why you do it?
Guys, it's nearly showtime.
Guys, it's nearly showtime. Less than
an hour.
Less than an hour.
We've got Lucky.
No, next. We've got Matt the ref.
Matt the ref in the ring right now because they are preparing for their big match tonight. What number match are they tonight?
2.
You sure?
No. Match number 2.
Okay, guys, we've got Jacob here, referee for all of tonight's matches. I want you to show me your best pinfall count.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, ring the bell!
Ding, 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 ding!
If you've got any questions about your match, or you want to tell me you're finished before you write it on the board, to save me coming up to you going, I don't like that, why are you doing that? Come and find me and we'll talk through it, but I'm pretty confident you've all got a good plan for your finishes. All right? Happy? Let's enjoy the show. Good, go home.
So with Jason and the team ready backstage, there was only one thing missing. The Reach Army. As the fans started arriving, excited to see their favourite stars in action, I got a chance to speak to Jason about how he got into wrestling and the vision for Reach.
Jason, just tell me a little bit about your background in wrestling before you set up Reach Wrestling.
Okay, so like most people, I was a kid, right, when I first liked wrestling, and I just, long story short, I just never grew out of it. I never grew out of this idea that I wanted to be a pro wrestler like the wrestlers I saw on TV. I was like obsessed. And the more I learned about it, the secrets that people don't want to talk about pro wrestling, the more I was obsessed. The more I was like, how can they do this and how can they do that? I would practice like promos when I was a kid, like talking to myself. I would drop a knife when I was buttering some toast. I'd start saying to the knife, "You think you're sharper than me?" Like, I'm like 10 years old. Like, I've spent like 30 years of just, or 20 years or so, just doing stuff like that, like in front of the camera all the time. There was no camera, but in my head there was always a camera. So I was always performing. I'd be talking to my friends. My mum would say something like, "Get your ass upstairs," and I'd be like, "Who the hell do you think you're talking to?" I get whacked. Do you know what I mean? But in my head I was like, "Yeah." And I didn't even know where the king thing came from. I think it just. Backstory from when I was a kid, but I'll tell you that a different day. But I just always had it in my head, you're going to be a pro wrestler. You're going to give this, you're going to give it a go. And I just knew, like, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to give everything you got to this thing, and and if you ain't any good at it, you just quit because you know you're no good. It's like, whatever, I ain't too bad. It's my honest opinion, and rule number one, no lies.
I'm looking forward to seeing that tonight.
Well, I hope it goes well then. Now you said that, but I think it's just dedication to craft. So I started wrestling. I was 21. I got trained by a guy in Portsmouth who was trained by Shawn Michaels.
Wow.
Yeah, he was good. He was expensive, but you paid for what you were getting, right? I was like, I was so skint. I was 21, I was working at like a Tesco, and I had any money. And I was traveling to Portsmouth every weekend, and I was paying this guy a lot of money, like 3 figures a month for like to learn to wrestle. And I just had it in my head, like, yeah, you got. I remember sitting in the Tesco car park one day. I had 26p in my pocket. I was drinking a cup of water and some Tesco Value Jam Tarts, and I was like, life's got to get better than this. And I was like, if I just keep on at this thing, I'm sure. I told myself, if you're any good, then success is going to come somewhere along the way. It's going to come. And I used to think like WWE and all this stuff. I wrestled for about 5 years maybe, and I got to a point where I thought something's missing here. Like in this country with wrestling, I just thought we're missing like so much. So much of it was just not very good. I know it's hard for people to hear that. Yeah. But if we just cut shit and be honest, it's crap. A lot of crap. And the people, their attitudes, the way they weren't business. It's not business of wrestling. It was just people renting out a ring, buying some local wrestling boots and pants and saying I'm a pro wrestler. And I was like, you lot are off your head. Like, there's a business here. There's money to be made, and there's proper professional wrestling that we can showcase, right, with proper professional wrestlers. So I just tell myself, well, if no one else is going to do it, or no one down here in this part of the country is going to do it, then I'm going to bloody do it. That's what I did. And I just, like, I am obsessed with helping people. I can't stop myself. If I see somebody who's maybe not hitting their potential, I'm just like, send him to me. You giving me, I'll fix that. And I just, again and again and again and again for the last 6 years. And we get loads of people at our school that are told in life by people, oh, you can't do that. And, yeah, you'll never be good at that. And that holds you back. And I'm like, come here. You work with me. We'll sort you out. And that's my real obsession. So Reach started really because I thought this wrestling stuff is poor. Really not very good. Yeah. I know I can do it better. It's not arrogant if I can prove it, which I have done for the last 6 years. Are we the best? Maybe not. But every day we're getting better and better at learning from mistakes we make. And mistakes others make. And we hear about them. So then we started the training schools well, and it's become an obsession. It still is today. I just want to give an opportunity to people to do this thing they loved, like I did as a kid. It was always so far away, wrestling. It was always in Japan, Mexico, America. Now it's right here, in the southwest of England, in Plymouth. Or we're an hour away from Exeter. We're at 90 minutes from Taunton. We're at 30 minutes from Cornwall. Do you know what I mean? We're right here on your doorstep. Yeah. And it gives me goosebumps to think about it. The amount of people that I can help. I just want to help, and I want to provide an opportunity to those that feel like I feel. Yeah. I've never lost the passion for this thing. Does that make sense? Yeah. You just said that word there perfectly, like the passion. Your passion is Reach Wrestling, and it has been now for nearly 6 years, coming up this summer. Looking into the future, what's the vision for Reach Wrestling? So we're a business, right? And for a business to continue to keep going, you need new sponsors, we need new collaboration. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes that people don't see on show day with local businesses, and we've got some sponsors in now. We've got collaborations with gyms, we're working with the hospital radio. There's so many different local organizations and charities we're working with to raise our profile. We're going into the schools now, we're working with the university, the city college. There has to be continued growth. And if there's not continued growth, then you get to a point where you just sort of, you can sit at, say, this level, but that's not my mindset and that's not what I want. If we as an organization help one guy, I think, well, there's 9 more we've missed out of those 10, let's say. And the more people that know about us, the more opportunity we can provide for people. We're a business, so there's money's got to be made. There's an operating cost that goes with running a business. I'm not sitting here trying to sound like Jesus reborn. We're running a business. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the thing that brings you the most joy is continued growth of your organization, which means not me, it's a continued growth of our people. And that's when you are in this team, and you are part of Reach, I will give everything I have to making you the best you that I can. And the moment you leave and hand in your shirt and say, I'm not in this team no more, it's like football, right? You play for Chelsea, you leave and go to Man City, okay, well, you're not in my team anymore. But while you're here, we'll give everything we got. And that means to our students, that means, you just asked me about the growth of our business, continued growth. 5 years from now, or 3 years from now, I want to be, if this venue holds 150 people, and I want to be running venues that hold twice that. You know what I mean? And then 5 years after that, twice that again. And it's got to be continued collaboration and growth. But it's got to be done the right way. I see a lot of people run before they walk. They're around for 5 minutes in this job and then they're gone again. It needs to be sustainable.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to tonight.
Me too.
Which I really strongly agree with, is that Jason King is really boring. To not just come back and own part of Reach, but to come back here and challenge you and save Reach Wrestling from you. Which ones of you want me to challenge for the heavyweight title right now?
Yes, it's true. Yes, I liquidated your shares. Yes, you were dumb enough to allow me to do it because I'm a ruthless businessman. You got to take it so personal. Like a little girl, like a little schoolgirl wears a dress, right? I'm a man in a man's world, and you act like a little girl. You blindsided me, and you cheat me out of a championship. Consider yourself very lucky we used to be friends. This, my mate, my old mate, is not the end. This is the start. Don't cut that swear either.
Okay guys, that is the end of the night here at Reach Wrestling in Plymouth. It's been an amazing night, we've really enjoyed ourselves. Unfortunately you lost your championship, but...
You can bring it up for. That's the last thing you're going to say. That's the last thing he's going to say on the whole documentary. You lost your championship. If he comes back, I'll have to wrestle him, won't I?
Anyway, thank you very much, really appreciate it.
I enjoyed
it's been a pleasure.
Right up until the moment where you said I lost my belt. Thanks for reminding me. Cheers.
This guy.